All right, so today we're diving into European innovation. We're talking about a map of Europe, but instead of like countries and borders, picture industries just buzzing with new ideas, inventions popping up left and right.
Yeah, and we're going deep, not just scratching the surface. We're looking at a new report from the R&D consulting firm Haptic. It's their take on where innovation in Europe is headed, the trends, the investments, everything.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, cartographers of cutting edge tech. But instead of mountains and rivers, they're mapping the flow of ideas and where the money's going.
Exactly. And one thing that's clear from this report is the sheer scale of innovation happening in Europe right now. We're talking over 732,600 enterprises involved. That's huge.
Yeah, that is a big number. Wow. But we're not just talking about, every cafe owner suddenly deciding to launch a new app, are we?
Right, right. It's more nuanced than that. Over half of them are definitely developing new products and processes. But the report shows a key difference between the big players and the little guys. When it comes to who is really driving the innovation, the big companies, those with more than 250 employees, they have the advantage. 80% of them are actively innovating.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Deeper pockets means more resources. They can afford to throw money at R&D. But what does that mean for the smaller businesses? Are they being left behind?
It's a good question, and it's a valid concern. It's like, imagine you're building a spaceship. You need years of research and development, huge teams, lots of money, and that's before you even think about launching it. It's a long game, and not every company can play at that level. The report actually suggests more targeted policies and support systems are needed to even the playing field a little. But it's not all doom and gloom for the little guys. Not at all. There's a lot of investment flowing, and some surprising sectors are heating up.
Okay, so let's follow the money. Who is investing in what? And where are these surprise hotspots popping up?
Get ready to be surprised because Portugal is leading the charge in, wait for it, waste management.
Portugal,
Yeah.
leading the way in waste management. That's not exactly what comes to mind when I think cutting edge tech. I mean, it kind of challenges some assumptions about where innovation happens, right?
Exactly, but it makes sense when you think about the EU's push for a greener economy. They're serious about sustainability, putting their money where their mouth is, and it seems Portugal is really taking it to heart. We're talking a 553% increase in investment in just 1 year.
Wow, 553%. So they're not just collecting garbage, they're building a whole new industry around it. Could this be a model for other countries? I mean, tackling waste management through innovation.
Absolutely. It's not just about managing waste more efficiently. It's about developing new technologies, new processes, even new materials. Imagine a world where plastic is replaced by a biodegradable alternative, all made from recycled waste. I think Portugal's commitment suggests this kind of future might be closer than we think.
It's amazing how something like waste management, a challenge, can become a breeding ground for innovation like that.
Right.
I guess, like they say, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, absolutely. And this whole sustainability thing, it's everywhere in Europe right now. The report also highlights big investments in other green sectors too, like water management in Croatia and renewable energy solutions, especially in Sweden.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Sweden, it seems like they're not just leading the way in green tech. The
Yeah.
report says they're one of the biggest spenders on R&D overall, along with Belgium and Denmark. So what's the story there? Is it all just pharmaceuticals and wind farms or what?
Well, those sectors are definitely key players, yeah. But it's part of a bigger trend, I think. These countries are investing really heavily in the industries of the future, especially high-tech manufacturing. So pharmaceuticals, sure, but also computer science, aerospace, even cutting-edge materials. They're laying the groundwork now for what they hope will be market dominance decades down the line.
So they're placing their bets on the industries they think will really shape the 21st century, huh?
Exactly. And the numbers seem to back that up. High-tech manufacturing is booming. It's a huge part of the EU economy now. Just in 2022 alone, electronics and telecommunications, that was over a quarter of all high-tech products sold by the EU.
Wow, that's a big chunk.
Yeah, and it's not just consumer gadgets either. Pharmaceuticals, scientific instruments, they're right up there too. Each of those is around 20% of the EU's high-tech production.
So it sounds like Europe is really setting itself up to be not just a hub for innovation, but a global leader in these key high-tech areas.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, but it didn't just happen overnight. Remember that spaceship analogy from earlier? These big R&D budgets we're seeing in these countries, it's the result of years of strategic investment. A willingness to play the long game, basically. Investing in research today so they can have those breakthroughs tomorrow.
So while some countries are focused on the short-term gains, These guys are playing chess, thinking decades ahead.
Yeah, precisely. And it's working. We're seeing those investments turn into actual products, new medical treatments, advancements in aerospace technology, you name it. It's an impressive portfolio for sure.
It really is. But I've got to ask, with this much focus on high tech, are we neglecting other important areas? What about the arts or social innovation, the human side of progress? This report really focuses on the hard data, the investment numbers, all that, but surely there's more to European innovation than microchips and spaceships.
You're right, it's a crucial point. This report is really focused on what we can measure easily, like investment and outputs. But we can't forget that innovation needs an ecosystem to thrive. And a healthy ecosystem needs diversity.
Right, so even though high-tech industries might be getting all the attention and the money, we can't lose sight of all the other players who contribute to this really exciting landscape.
Exactly. Think of it like a forest. You need a variety of trees and plants and organisms, too, for it to really be healthy and thrive. It's the same with innovation. You need the high-tech startups, but also the creative industries, social enterprises, everything, really.
That's a great analogy. So it's not just about the big players then. It's about having an environment where all kinds of innovation can flourish and work together and make our society richer and more vibrant.
Precisely. And that brings us back to something we touched on earlier, how important inclusivity is in the innovation ecosystem. If we really want to see those big, groundbreaking advancements, we need to make sure that everyone has the chance to contribute, no matter their background or the size of their company.
So even though this report highlights the successes of certain sectors and countries, it also shows us that we need balance and diversity. We need to make sure everyone has a level playing field.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, what matters isn't just the number of patents or how much money's been invested. It's about whether we can actually create a better future for everyone.
It's like we've taken this whirlwind tour of European innovation, not by plane or train, but by idea hopping from, I don't know, waste management in Portugal to cutting-edge tech in Sweden.
It is amazing how interconnected it all is, though, when you really look at it. We started with something like waste management, an industry people might not think about right away, but it shows how important sustainability is becoming. That focus on sustainability, it's driving investment and innovation all over Europe.
Yeah, and then we've got these high-tech powerhouses like Sweden, Denmark. They're playing the long game, putting big money into R&D now so they can be the top dogs in the future. It's really strategic.
Totally. It's like they're playing 3D chess while everyone else is still figuring out checkers. But like we've been saying, it can't just be about these big attention-grabbing sectors. For a strong innovation ecosystem, you need diversity.
Absolutely. You need those smaller players, the social innovators, those creative thinkers who might not have millions to throw around, but they bring fresh ideas and new ways of solving problems. That's so valuable.
I think that's what's been so interesting about really digging into this report from Haptic. We've gotten all this data, the numbers, snapshots of all these industries, but it also makes you step back and look at the bigger picture.
It's like we put together a jigsaw puzzle, but instead of some static image, what we're left with is this living, breathing picture of innovation in Europe. And the best part is, it's still being created.
Exactly. This report isn't the final word on European innovation. It's just a snapshot in time. And more than that, it's a jumping off point, something to get the ball rolling.
And that's where you come in, dear listeners. We've talked about the trends, the opportunities, even some of the challenges, but now we want to hear from you. What really stood out to you? What questions did this spark for you?
Are you working in a field where innovation is happening right now? Have you spotted any opportunities out there that everyone else is missing? Share your insights, your predictions. Tell us what it's like to be in the thick of it, navigating this really exciting landscape.
Yeah, head over to our website address, and join the conversation. Let's explore the future of European innovation together, because we've seen today that the best discoveries often come from working together.
You never know. Maybe the next big thing in European innovation won't be a product or some technology. Maybe it'll be a new way of thinking or a new approach to collaboration, a spark of inspiration from a conversation just like this one.
And on that note of possibility, of collaboration, we'll wrap up this deep dive into Europe's innovation engine. Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep your eyes on the horizon, because you never know what might be just around the corner.